मातरम, वंदे मातरम।
नमस्ते। E2A यानी एंट्रेंस टू एकेडेमिया चैनल में आप लोगों का स्वागत है। मैं हूं सुकृत बैनर्जी और ये है पुनीत कुमार झा। हम दोनों जवाहरलाल नेहरू यूनिवर्सिटी में रिसर्च स्कॉलर हैं। इन दिस वीडियो वी विल बी टॉकिंग अबाउट द 150th ईयर कॉमेमोरेशन ऑफ वंदे मातरम। यस, वंदे मातरम, our national song. In this video, we will be talking about the history behind the composition of this song, as well as its long history of association with our freedom movement and the legacy that it has left for us even after independence. So, in the beginning, I will be talking about the context of this song, and then my friend Puneet will be talking further about the involvement of the nationalists in the popularization of Vande Mataram. So, Vande Mataram was written in the year 1875 by Bankimchandra Chattopadhyay. Now, Bankimchandra Chattopadhyay subsequently included it in the novel Anandamath in 1882. Now, both this information is important in order to understand the context of the song, because the first two stanzas of the song were written in 1875, which has been given the status of the national song. पर ये जो पूरा गाना है वंदे मातरम का, जो बाकी के पोर्शंस हम लोग नेशनल सॉन्ग के हिसाब से गाते नहीं हैं, वो आनंदमठ का जो स्पेसिफिक कॉन्टेक्स्ट था उसमें इंक्लूड किया गया था। तो पहले वंदे मातरम का इम्पोर्टेंस जानने के पहले हम लोग को आनंदमठ के बारे में भी थोड़ा सा डिस्कस करना पड़ेगा। Now, Anandamath was a novel which was set in the context of the Sannyasi rebellion against both the Bengal Nawab and the British rule. And so, the anti-colonial resistance was coded into the song, and perhaps that's the reason why the revolutionaries could use it so effectively during the freedom movement. Through this song, the attempt of Bankim Chandra Chattopadhyay was to dedicate the song to the motherland and to defy the motherland, Bharat Mata, as a symbol of Indian nationalism. We see this imagery throughout Anandamath, and Vande Mataram is the biggest example of that. That is why many commentators like Rezaul Karim in the 1930s commented that Vande Mataram gave voice to the mute and courage to the coward, so that they were able to confront colonial rule effectively. Bankim Chandra Chattopadhyay wrote the song in Rag Desh, and Rabindranath Tagore also popularized it by singing it during the 1896 session of the Indian National Congress in Calcutta. However, it was only during the Swadeshi movement that the song became popular across the length and breadth of India. So, on this issue, Puneet will be elaborating a bit more.
थैंक यू सुकृत वंदे मातरम का कॉन्टेक्स्ट देने के लिए। 20वीं शताब्दी के प्रथम 3 दशक में इस गाने को बढ़ चढ़कर प्रयोग किया गया। स्वदेशी आंदोलन के दौरान वंदे मातरम का प्रयोग स्वदेशी के प्रचार प्रसार के लिए किया गया। 1905 के कांग्रेस अधिवेशन में गोपाल कृष्ण गोखले के अनुरोध पर सरला देवी चौधरानी ने इस गाने को गाया। इसके बाद यह गाना बहुत प्रचलित हुआ और यही वह समय था जब यह गीत एक नारे के रूप में प्रयोग होने लगा। हालांकि इसके साथ साथ वंदे मातरम के विरोध में बीज भी पनपने लगे। 1906 के पुलिस रिकॉर्ड्स में पूर्वी बंगाल के बरिशल जिले में हिंदू मुस्लिम के उन्माद की सूचना आई, जब एक स्वदेशी जत्था वंदे मातरम के नारे लगाते हुए जा रहा था। ढाका जिले में जब प्रदर्शनकारी एक मैनचेस्टर कपड़े का व्यापार करने वाले दुकान को बंद कराने का प्रयास कर रहे थे, तब उनका यह कहकर विरोध किया गया कि वो वंदे मातरम के नारे लगा रहे थे। अरविंदो ने वंदे मातरम का जमकर प्रचार किया। उन्होंने अपने जर्नल वंदे मातरम और संध्या के माध्यम से सामान्य जनों तक इस गाने के महत्व को पहुंचाया। उनका मानना था कि मातृभूमि का केवल बौद्धिक विचार अपने आप में कोई महान प्रेरक शक्ति नहीं है, बल्कि एक सुंदर छवि जो मन को आकृष्ट कर ले, राष्ट्रभक्ति की भावना को जगाने में ज्यादा समर्थ है। उनके लिए वंदे मातरम वही शक्ति थी। 1920 आते आते वंदे मातरम भारत का सबसे प्रचलित गीत बन गया था। इसे लगभग हर भारतीय भाषा में लोग सुनते और गाते थे। सुब्रमण्यम भारती के अनुवाद ने इसे लगभग हर भाषा के लोगों तक पहुंचाने का काम किया। अंग्रेजों का कहना था कि वंदे मातरम समाज में आपसी सौहार्द बिगाड़ने और उन्माद फैलाने का काम कर रहा है। इसी कारण से उन्होंने 1907 में बंगाल के कुछ इलाकों में इसे नारे के रूप में यूज करने पर पाबंदी लगा दी थी, लेकिन यह इसके प्रचार प्रसार को रोकने में असमर्थ साबित हुआ। इसका प्रयोग महाराष्ट्र, मद्रास, हर जगह अंग्रेजी विरोधी आंदोलन में किया जाने लगा। 1910 में अंग्रेजों ने इसे महाराष्ट्र में गैर कानूनी प्रकाशन की लिस्ट में शामिल कर दिया। गीत का संदेश आगे चलकर राजनीतिक आंदोलन में एक नारे में बदल गया। जैसे कि अरविंदो ने कहा, यह एक मंत्र बन गया। क्रांतिकारी संगठनों ने इसे प्रतिज्ञा और लड़ाई के नारे की तरह अपनाया। बाद में जब यह 2 शब्दों वाला जुलूस में जनता को जोश दिलाने के लिए बोला जाने लगा, तो गीत के जटिल विचार और भावना सिमट कर एक आसान लेकिन असरदार संदेश बन गए। इसका विरोध और इसका समर्थन इस दशक में लगातार होता रहा। जैसे कि राजमुंद्री कॉलेज की एक घटना, जब प्रिंसिपल हंटर ने इसका विरोध किया, उन्होंने 138 छात्रों को सस्पेंड कर दिया क्योंकि वो वंदे मातरम के नारे लगा रहे थे। लेकिन उसी तीव्र गति से कॉलेज के अन्य छात्र ने एक वंदे मातरम जत्था बनाया और उन्होंने हंटर का विरोध किया। अंततः हंटर को झुकना पड़ा। इस दौर में ऐसी और भी घटनाएं देखने को मिलती हैं, जैसे कि 1907 में मद्रास की एक रैली में वंदे मातरम के नारे लगाए गए। लगभग इसी समय राष्ट्रगीत के तौर पर इसे अपनाने की मुहिम शुरू हुई। हालांकि कुछ पक्षों ने इसका विरोध भी किया, जैसा कि सुकृत अभी बताएंगे।
So, the Vande Mataram had a checkered history right from the days of the Swadeshi agitation in Bengal from 1905 onwards. While the Hindus of Bengal were predominantly against the partition of Bengal and used Vande Mataram as their political slogan to fight for their motherland, there were many sections of the Muslim community who were not comfortable with this song. Their objections were many, but primarily it rested upon the argument that by deifying the motherland, the song is promoting idolatry. In defense of their argument, they also pointed out to specific verses within the Vande Mataram, particularly verses like Tvam hi Durga Dasha Praharana Dharini, which they argue is a kind of deification of goddess Durga, and therefore the Muslims cannot be expected to sing this song. Further, they also felt that the Hindus, by provocatively using this slogan while carrying out the Swadeshi agitation, was often causing problems to the Muslim shopkeepers and peasants of Bengal. So, right from 1906 onwards, we see Muslim intellectuals opposing Vande Mataram. And in the 1920s, with the outbreak of Hindu-Muslim riots across the country, the Vande Mataram issue became even more volatile. In the 1930s, as the question of assuming power in the provinces following the Government of India Act came up, Vande Mataram was introduced by the Congress governments in 1937 in schools as well as in legislative assemblies. The Muslim League, however, strenuously opposed this. Their argument again rested upon the familiar argument of idolatry and also the context of Anandamath, which they argued was very anti-Muslim in nature. Therefore, their primary demand was complete stop to any kind of singing of Vande Mataram in schools and legislative assemblies and other government institutions where the Congress was trying to introduce the singing of Vande Mataram in 1937. The Congress was, however, in a dilemma. Vande Mataram by this time, as Puneet has rightly pointed out, become a pan-Indian slogan. The song was immensely popular across the length and breadth of the country. So many people had gone to the gallows or had went to jail by singing this song or by using this slogan. So the sentiments of the people were very closely intertwined with this song, and therefore the Congress could not easily contemplate giving up this song altogether. They consulted Rabindranath Tagore, who played a major role in popularizing this song during the Swadeshi part agitation and who also sang it during the Congress session in Calcutta in 1896. Rabindranath Tagore's opinion was very clear. The first 2 stanzas of the song, according to him, represented the beauty of the motherland, her harvest, her climate, and her beauty as a mother. Therefore, it can be retained. However, the other stanzas are defying the motherland as goddess Durga. There is explicit use of Hindu imagery, and therefore Rabindranath Tagore's suggestion was that the only first 2 stanzas of the poem be retained as the national song, the other stanzas can be discarded. Following this recommendation of Rabindranath Tagore, in October 1937, the working committee of the All India Congress Committee decided to sing Vande Mataram in only its expunged, edited version. However, the Muslim League was even not happy with this measure. They continued to demand a total prohibition on the singing of Vande Mataram. In 1939, they even brought out a Pirpur report detailing how Muslim children in government schools were being forced to sing Vande Mataram. The Congress, however, pointed out that nobody was being forced to sing Vande Mataram. It was the people's will to sing it if they liked. And the Congress further pointed out that by removing the other verses which were more objectionable to the Muslims, there was really no ground for opposing this song. Nevertheless, this controversy continued over a long period of time. However, it would be incorrect to argue that all Muslims were against Vande Mataram. There were prominent Muslim intellectuals like Rizaul Karim in Bengal who pointed out that we have to decontextualize Vande Mataram from the larger context of Anandamath. There can be anti-Muslim sentiments in Anandamath, but Vande Mataram, by its sheer association with the national movement, he argued, has acquired a life of its own, and therefore we should celebrate the song and keep the other context aside. But we also know that the Muslim League continued to be popular amongst the Muslim masses, and therefore the Vande Mataram issue remained volatile right up till 1947. However, after 1947, with the partition and the Muslim League was no longer there to object to Vande Mataram, we see Vande Mataram having a different kind of history. And on that, my friend Puneet will be adding.
तो जैसा कि सुकृत ने बताया, वंदे मातरम को लेकर पॉलिटिकल विवाद चलता रहा। पूरे 20वीं सदी के प्रथम भाग में इस गीत को लेकर विवाद हुआ, लेकिन उसी समय इसकी लोकप्रियता भी बढ़ती रही। आई मूवी आनंदमठ और उसमें लता मंगेशकर के द्वारा गाया गया वंदे मातरम गीत लोकप्रिय हुआ, और जब 1997 में ए.आर. रहमान ने वंदे मातरम को अपने अंदाज में कंपोज किया और उसकी अपार सफलता देखते हुए, क्या आप कह सकते हैं कि वंदे मातरम करोड़ों दिलों में और उन लोगों की चेतना में सदैव जीवित रहेगा?
Since we have talked so much about the Vande Mataram's history, perhaps it's also worthwhile to remember that even in current times, there are occasions where there are controversies over the singing of Vande Mataram. We might have seen these in newspapers, perhaps even recently. So, for example, in many schools, we see incidents of certain families objecting to the singing of Vande Mataram by their children, and there are other incidents as well. And Vande Mataram, therefore, in my opinion, and I think this is the opinion of others as well, should not be seen as a communal cry. It has a history associated with our freedom movement, associated with the sacrifice of our freedom fighters, and also post-independence associated with the sacrifice and martyrdom of our soldiers fighting in the border. So, Vande Mataram should be celebrated and nourished and cherished as our national song, and perhaps rightly so. That's why the Constituent Assembly of India, on its last day, 24th of January 1950, adopted Vande Mataram as the national song simultaneously with the Jana Gana Mana, which was adopted as the national anthem. And the continued popularity of Jana Gana Mana and Vande Mataram shows that people do not distinguish between the two when it comes to patriotism. As Puneet has rightly pointed out, Vande Mataram continues to be immensely popular with the people, and it will always remain as a symbol of India's civilizational identity, as well as a tribute, a homage to Mother India. Bharat Mata ki Jai. Namaskar.